If you're watching this in 2026, maybe you've been saying, this is the year that I am going to finally start investing, but you might feel confused. You might feel overwhelmed. This is the absolute video for you. Now, when it comes to investing, you don't need a lot of money. You don't need to be a financial expert, and you definitely don't need to pick the perfect stocks or any single stocks at all. In the next few minutes, I want to walk you through the absolute first steps when it comes to investing, especially if you're new to this. Clear, simple, without the hype, without all of the noise that is out there. Now, I've spent almost 20 years in the financial industry, and here's what I've learned. Most people don't fail at investing because they're bad at it. They don't understand what they're doing. They fail because someone like me never shows them the fundamentals. So let's go ahead and make this simple. Step number one, you have to understand and know exactly why you're investing. Before you invest a single dollar, there's one simple goal. You have to ask yourself these simple questions. What am I investing for? Is it going to be a shorter term, like 3 to 5 years? Are you looking to invest in retirement? Do you want financial freedom? Are you looking for a debt-free journey? Is this going to be long-term wealth, which could be for your family, could also be generational wealth for kids or even grandkids? Now, of course, your goal, it really determines how you're going to invest. This is going to determine how much risk you're willing to take and how long your money is going to save and really be invested. If you're 25 years old and this is the account that you're going to set up for retirement, if you have a 40-year runway, time is your greatest component. That is going to give you the ability to actually compound, and it is going to be a massive runway for a year. And really a big beginner's rule, if your investment goal is 5 years or more away, you should be investing. Investing makes sense. If it's anything shorter term, and I really share this with a lot of people, if it's a year, 2, even 3 years, investing might be the absolute wrong tool for you. If there is a pullback or when there is a pullback in the market, chances are if you have a very short term runway, 1 to 3 years, you could lose money in the market. Now, step number two, understanding risk without the fear. Risk is what drives people away from the market. Risk scares beginners, and really risk means you could lose money today, you could lose money tomorrow. There is going to be a fear of risk. Now, risk means your investment will go up and down in the short term. When you start looking at an investment account, and if you're looking at on a daily basis, you're going to see balances go up. You're going to have an emotional tie, and you're going to freak out when balances go down, when historically growing over the long term is what we're looking at. When you start evaluating ETFs, and I'm going to share a couple with you, you really have to look at, again, the 3 year, probably even the 5 year, maybe even the 10 year of history for these ETFs. Now, of course, previous and really history is not going to be indicative to what we're going to see with future growth, but it does kind of give you a pathway on how the economy is doing and how it's been doing for an extended amount of time. Now, in 2026, the biggest risk that we have is not volatility in the market. The biggest risk is not being invested at all. Keeping your money in financial institutions, keeping it in cash, keeping it in savings accounts, and letting inflation absolutely eat away on those savings. The longer your timeline, the more risk you can afford. And again, this is something that I want to stress. Now, step number three, building a basic safety net. So me, as a certified financial counselor, before you start investing, there has to be two things that you kind of put in place. Number one, no high interest debt. When we start looking at credit card rates being 20% plus, you probably aren't going to see that really on a consistent and not on a guaranteed rate when it comes to investing. No high interest debt, no credit card debt at all. Have to really stress it when you get to the fundamentals. Again, if you're paying 20, 25, 30, even 35% on those high interest credit cards, it makes more sense to take the money, get those balances down, eliminate that high interest debt, and then start investing. And of course, having at least a basic emergency fund, ideally 3 to 6 months. And again, as a certified financial counselor, definitely have to show this, because why does it matter? Because what will happen in basic investing only works when you don't panic, when you don't liquidate all of your assets, when you don't pull out of the market when the market goes down. That is solidifying the losses. The step isn't very exciting, but when it comes to investing, it is absolutely critical. And a perfect example of this, if you put, let's say, $10,000 into the market, you buy 100 shares of a company, all of a sudden that $10,000 goes to $8,000. All of a sudden you've lost $2,000 and you sell all of your shares, locking in those losses. Guess what? When you bought the shares at $10,000, the share value went down to $8,000. Technically, you did not lose any shares. The value of the shares will go up, they will go down in a day to day, month to month, even year to year basis. When we start looking again at a bigger picture, you still own the same amount of shares regardless of the value of the shares. And the only time you actually take the loss is when you go in there and you sell those shares in the entirety. Now, of course, step number 4, let's talk about the accounts. When it comes to financial education, when it comes to investing, this is actually a question that I get a lot. I have money in my Chase, I have money in Bank of America, we have money, in Wells Fargo, in my credit union. How do I get the money from point A, being a financial institution, to point B, getting it invested? And really, there is a step by step logical way to talk about the accounts here. And of course, the first one in the starting order, number 1, is your employer 401k if there is a match. Now, I really say this with a caveat because if you're in putting money into your 401k, it is locking up the money to your 59 and a half. There could be tax advantages. There could be a Roth 401k. There are a couple things. Now, if your company is offering the match, you want to ensure that you are getting that match in its entirety. Then you have to kind of pan out a little bit and look at the bigger picture on what is the investment offering that your employer has for a 401k. For some people, it is absolutely worth it to continue and add more money and higher percentages into that 401k. For some people that have very limited or almost no options in their 401k, it might make a little bit more sense to do something like a Roth IRA or traditional IRA outside of the 401k. After that, we get into the taxable brokerage accounts. Now, for me personally, I have a 401k with my employer. I do have an IRA account personally, and I also have taxable brokerage accounts, which I've shared with you guys in a multitude of videos. Now, of course, my variation for both the 401k and a Roth is the IRA variation. Very, very important. If you're a beginner, if you're younger, your money can grow absolutely tax-free. You can start small, very powerful over time. And of course, if you're just starting in your career, chances are you're in a much lower income bracket than you're going to be in the next 20, 30, 40 years, making the Roth a very powerful tool. Opening up an account today takes about 10 minutes. I have some links down below for M1 Finance and Robinhood. I use both of those in the entirety, but you could also look at some of the bigger houses, looking at like your Vanguards and your Fidelity. There are a lot of options out there. And really the biggest cost in here is waiting another year without investing in its entirety. You want to make sure that you are investing and that you're building the assets. That is the way to really create wealth. Step number 5, what to invest in. This is where we're going to keep it really boring. We're going to keep it super simple, guys. Beginners do not need any complex strategies. Chances are, if you build complex strategies, if you look at a lot of complexity when it comes to trading, a lot of YouTube videos, you can keep it super basic. You don't need to be day trading. You're not looking into stock options. You're not looking at predictions that are coming in the market. You want to keep it diversified. You want to keep it very low cost, and you want to keep it long term. This is where your broad market index funds and really the index style investment that I do myself, it works, and it works for an incredible amount of time. Might be a little bit boring, and I've actually gotten comments on my YouTube videos here that my investment strategy is absolutely boring, which honestly I am perfectly okay with. Now, when it comes to some ETFs to look at, the VOO, which is the Vanguard S&P 500, or a similar fund that kind of tracks that S&P 500, looking at something like the QQQ, which of course tracks the NASDAQ 100, so being a little bit more tech heavy, being a little bit more into the growth. And then we round it out with the SCHD, which I know is one of the biggest income driven or really a value play. So when you have something like the VOO, that is kind of the foundation. The QQQ is going to be the big growth part, which of course is going to be a smaller portion of that portfolio. And then for the stability, or really if the market does pull back, you're not going to see as much as a pullback on something like the SCHD. And of course, the allocations I want to cover in another video. But if you're younger, a lot more into the growth side. If you're closer to retirement, possibly a little bit more into the SCHD as the income driver, as a supplement to Social Security, really does make a big difference. Now, of course, most successful and really the final step in here, automating the entire process. When it comes to investing, you want to set up contributions automatically. If it's weekly, if it's biweekly, even if it's small amount, $5 or $10, it adds up in an amazing and really over an extended amount of time can really grow that portfolio. So of course, if you remember one thing from this video, remember this. You don't need to know everything about investing to start. I always say taking the first step is really the best way. Take 50 bucks, take $100, open up an M1 Finance account, open up a Robinhood account, put $50 in there, put it into an ETF, and track exactly how it works. See exactly how you play around with it. And I've done this for an incredible amount of time. It does work very, very well. So, of course, if this video helped you, definitely hit the like button so more beginners can find it. Share it with anyone that needs the information. Subscribe for the clear, no nonsense investing education. And most importantly, start investing today. Future self is really counting on you, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.